Live from Ohio University, you're watching WOUB2, television for Athens County.
Tax season is here. We'll tell you where low and middle income families can get help filing their taxes.
Ohio University organizations shed their clothes on the street as a way of giving back to the community.
And the U.S. Defense Secretary is in Afghanistan today. We have that news and more on Athens Midday. Helpful and free resources are available to help you file your taxes. Good afternoon, I'm Matt Rosante.
And I'm Stephanie Crace. Ohioans are some of the lucky ones to have this service. Not everyone in Athens County who needs help to file their taxes can afford it, but there are resources available for those who need help the most. Athens Midday reporter Brad Evans talked with the volunteers who offer that help and joins us live with more. Brad?
Low and middle income families can't always afford to go to a professional to file their taxes. At the Church of the Good Shepherd, Dick and Phyllis Dean reach out during tax time.
Of course, the first couple of weeks were the most busy, and then it's slacked off now, and I'm sure we'll have another really busy period.
This is the second year Phyllis Dean has volunteered her time to help file taxes.
I did had a number of clients last year, and then we've started off, we were having a fairly good season this year.
It's not exactly the first place you would think to go when you need help filing your taxes, but that's exactly what volunteers are doing in the church behind me. Those needing help can call the church to make an appointment.
A client will leave their name and telephone number, how I can get back with them, and then I'll call them, set up an appointment time.
Phyllis and her husband say they need at least 2 hours to complete the process.
It turns out that the whole process is much simpler than I had anticipated.
They use a free service through the Ohio Benefit Bank, and Dick says we're lucky to have those resources in Ohio.
More states are without electronic filing than are with it.
The deans say they volunteer because they just like helping others.
We like to do things that benefit the greater good.
You can call the church at this number. 2 appointments are available daily. The deans say they've already helped twice as many people as last year. And if you want to use the Ohio Benefit Bank directly, you can access this free service at the website obb.oh.gov. Athens County Job and Family Services also offers assistance at the workstation in the Plains. Tax day this year is Monday, April 18th, because of the federal government observes a holiday on the 15th. That means everyone has 3 more days to file their taxes. Reporting live, Brad Evans, Athens Midday.
Thanks, Brad. A couple hundred people protested against Senate Bill 5 and proposed education budget cuts Friday on Ohio University's College Green. The event was organized by the group Defend Education Ohio, which is concerned about funding for higher education. Senate Bill 5, which would limit collective bargaining for public employees, passed the Senate last week and is now being considered in the House. But protesters in Athens were not the only ones showing their opposition to Senate Bill 5. A group of about 150 people gathered near the Schottenstein Center yesterday to oppose the bill. The protesters decided to rally outside the Ohio State-Wisconsin basketball game to gather support from 2 states going through similar debates.
The opening hearings on that measure in the House will begin tomorrow afternoon and are expected to continue through Thursday. A spokesman for the House Speaker, William Batchelder, says the Speaker is hoping for at least 3 weeks of hearings on the bill. Vouchers will be distributed on the State House steps about an hour before the panel meets to those wanting to attend the hearings. They will be handed out on a first-come, first-served basis. And while the State House is preparing for its hearings on Senate Bill 5, the Senate already passed its version of the bill by a narrow 17-16 vote. State Senator Jimmy Stewart, who voted for the bill, says amendments retaining collective bargaining for wages and working conditions persuaded him to cast a yes vote. The legislation still eliminates collective bargaining for state workers on health insurance, pensions, and management rights, as well as prohibiting public workers from striking.
Applications are down at Ohio University this year compared to last year. According to an article in the Post, freshmen and transfer applications are both down by about 70. Undergraduate admissions interim director Candace Boehinger told the Post application numbers change every day. Boehinger says a better indication of how many freshmen will be at Ohio University next year will be May 1st, the last day for housing deposit refunds. Current students have mixed reactions about their decision to come to OU.
I would definitely go to Ohio University again because I met so many amazing people and I really like all my classes like every quarter, and it was an awesome experience.
And I don't think that the education system's that strong. There's too much emphasis on general classes and not a focus on your core classes and your major, so you kind of waste time taking classes you don't need to.
The Post article says the university is satisfied with where the numbers are right now.
O'Bleness Memorial Hospital has a new president and CEO. The hospital announced that John Yanes will take over running O'Bleness beginning April 11th. Yanes is currently the president and CEO of Memorial Healthcare System in Fremont, Ohio. He brings more than 20 years of hospital leadership to Athens. Yanes will replace interim CEO Larry Thornhill. And women in Southeast Ohio may need to look elsewhere for contraception and other preventative services. Planned Parenthood could be forced to close its doors if a proposal to eliminate federal funding for Title X is passed in the Senate and signed by President Obama. Title X is a family planning program which allows free or inexpensive services for patients based on their income.
If you were uptown yesterday, you may have wondered why more than 100 people were running around in the cold with practically nothing on. For the second year in a row, Ohio University Student Alumni Board and Alpha Epsilon Pi put on Bear on the Bricks fundraiser, a nearly naked mile. Athens Midday reporter Melissa Ferguson is live in the newsroom to tell us what motivates people to streak down Court Street.
That's right, Stephanie. Bear on the Bricks is a fundraiser that collects the clothes that people take off before they run and donates them to My Sister's Place or local schools. Last year they collected 1,000 pounds of clothing, and this year they hope to collect more after counting it this week. The participants paid $10 to register for the run, got a pair of Bear on the Bricks socks, and lunch at Bronies. Runner Lowell Berg says socks are just what he needed on the bitter cold day.
The cold is definitely getting to us, but these socks, I mean, they've just been tremendous in helping the arms stay warm here, so great idea to give these away.
Event organizer Morgan Dominic says the cold won't stop the run from happening, and it sure didn't. Court Street was closed to traffic starting at 1 o'clock until the run ended.
Last year we had a huge turnout, and we actually had like 8 inches of snow the night before. We were out here at 5 in the morning shoveling everything, and everyone got really excited about it.
The runners will start at the beginning of Court Street and work their way to Bronies. Hopefully they don't freeze on the way. It's pretty cold out here today. But despite the cold, people opened their closets and came out for the run.
Every girl has a ton of clothes in their closet they want to get rid of, so this is a really good opportunity to help the community and whatever, and still like clean out your closet too. So.
Well, I actually bought some socks because a lot of families need that type of stuff, and it's just a lot of like old clothes that like stuff that like a lot of like teenagers and stuff our age need too. So it's people like anything from kids to adults need stuff. So
they took off with flying colors as the participants broke through the banner and ran all the way to Bronies. Zach Grayman says he's tired, but it was worth it.
I was at the head of the pack. There was no way I was going to stay in the cold for that long. I donated at least 5 pairs of shirts, a pair of pants, a hoodie, some socks, shorts, pretty much anything I could find around the house I didn't need anymore.
This week, the Student Alumni Board and AEPi will sort the clothes and get them to those who need it. Reporting live for Athens Midday, I'm Melissa Ferguson.
Thanks, Melissa. To find out what went into planning this event and how the money will be spent, go to our website, athensmidday.com.
Construction is underway for a new Athens High School athletic stadium. It was nearly 6 months ago that a tornado heavily damaged the old one. Principal Mike Meek says it's going to be a complete renovation. He says the community has raised nearly $1 million for the project. The new stadium will include a new track, new bleachers, and artificial turf. And from peanuts to peanut butter, we have the latest recalls you need to know about.
And the U.S. Defense Secretary landed in Afghanistan today. We'll tell you what he said to American troops coming up.
When I was looking for an acting program, I wanted to find a university with a strong community of engaged students and professors, where I get to both study acting and be an actor.
I'd say hello, but it's a little late for introductions.
My name is Dinah Berkeley, and my path to Hollywood begins right here at Ohio University.
Hi.
Find the path to your promise.
When you support PBS, you're doing more than supporting the programs you love. You're supporting possibilities. You're making sure there's a place for independent voices, ideas and perspectives. You're opening children's minds, helping them discover who they are and what they can be. You're giving everyone the chance to find inspiration from the arts. And you're opening doors to the wonders of the world. To discover more, experience more, be more. Support possibilities. Support PBS.
What makes a good frontline story is really the ability to go to the heart of a difficult issue, to tell it with some intelligence and complexity, to do what most of television doesn't do. Frontline and public television is one of the last places doing this kind of work. We've been doing this job for 25 years, and people have come to trust us because we answer to no one but you.
Defense Secretary Robert Gates made a surprise visit to Afghanistan today to speak to U.S. troops in Kabul. Gates' visit comes as tensions rise again between Afghanistan and the U.S. because 9 Afghan boys were recently killed in a U.S. helicopter operation targeting insurgents.
You all keep me up at night. I think a lot about the people out here and what you're having to put up with and the conditions you live in and sacrifices you make.
You see a very emotional Gates there. Now, Afghan President Hamid Karzai says NATO airstrikes are killing too many civilians. During his visit, Gates will meet with senior U.S. military officers and Afghan leaders. And airstrikes continue in Libya. Forces loyal to Muammar Gaddafi targeted Ras Lanaf in an attack this morning. The city is a rebel position and a key oil port. There were no reported casualties. Libyan rebels say that after regrouping from Gaddafi's forces attacking them with helicopter gunships and artillery rockets yesterday, they are trying to stop rebels from marching toward the capital. And as a result of the Libya attacks, gas prices are up again. Around Ohio, prices have jumped another 9 cents, up to $3.47 from last Monday when gas was at $3.38. This is the highest Ohio gas prices have been since late September in 2008, when pumps were at a whopping $4.05. Ohio motorists are now paying 10% more for fuel than they were a month ago. And if you're wondering why gas prices continue to rise with conflict in Libya, well, the country controls the largest oil reserve in Africa.
The Food and Drug Administration is warning consumers about the recall of California hazelnuts. The hazelnuts have been linked to several cases of E. coli-related illnesses. According to the FDA and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, 7 people in 3 states got sick from eating the products. They contained in-shell hazelnuts from DeFranco & Sons in Los Angeles. The products were sold in 1-pound packages, 2- or 4-pound bags of trail mix, or in open bins in grocery stores. The hazelnuts were distributed between November 2nd and December 22nd of 2010. 3 people were hospitalized, but no deaths were reported. We have another recall to tell you about for low-fat peanut butter. 16-ounce jars of Skippy reduced-fat creamy and reduced-fat super chunk peanut butter are recalled in 16 states. Ohio is not included. The jars may contain salmonella, which could cause death, especially in children and elderly people. So far, no cases of salmonella poisoning have been reported.
According to a survey from General Motors, rental car companies are not removing all recalled cars from their lots. Cars recalled last year included Chevrolet Cobalts, the Pontiac G6, and the Outlook. GM study shows how many recalled cars are still being rented to customers at 9 locations. Enterprise still had 75% of recalled cars available. Hertz had 52%. Ace Rent-A-Car had 47%. On average, 62% of recalled vehicles are still available for rent. And flooding in the Athens area is over for now. Other areas in Ohio are not so lucky. Kirsty Zontini joins us for weather after the break.
And the last Athens County team with a chance of winning a title played last night. We have the results for you coming up.
10,000.
15? 15, you think?
20, 21,000?
600.
20. 18,500.
24.
It's at least 40.
Look at it.
4,500,000.
650.
20.
650.
This textile would be worth about $500,000.
$500,000?
No way.
I knew it's just a blanket.
Laying on the back of a chair. Well, sir, you have a national treasure.
Wow.
A national treasure. Congratulations.
I can't believe this.
When you support PBS, you're supporting possibilities. You're making sure there's a place for independent voices. You're opening children's minds. And you're giving everyone the chance to find inspiration from the arts. To discover more, be more. Support possibilities. Support PBS.
The best professor I ever had was also my greatest role model. After completing my engineering degree, she encouraged me to continue my studies in England. I worked on environmental projects with the UK Coal Authority, the European Union, and Coal India. Now I strive to inspire students the way I was inspired. My name is Natalie Cruza, my path is environmental research, and I'm proud to call Ohio University home. Find the path to your promise.
Flooding continues around Ohio as many rivers remain out of their banks, with water covering roads in some spots. The National Weather Service reported moderate flooding today along the Scioto River in Prospect and Circleville in central Ohio. There has also been a significant rise in the Ohio River after rains yesterday. The Ohio and Muskingum rivers in Marietta actually receded Saturday, but are expected to rise again in the next 48 hours, covering the ground around them. Several other areas around the state are seeing minor flooding near rivers and streams. Flood warnings cover about 1/3 of Ohio's counties. A lot of flooding in our area from this rain we've had. A ton of it.
It's terrible. It's been causing a lot of problems. Kirsty Zontini joins us now with weather. Kirsty, give us some good news, please.
Well, Matt, for the next 2 days, we will be experiencing some good news. We're going to see some sun in the area. Right now, we're seeing sun, but Wednesday, our new storm system is going to come in, bringing rain for most of the region. That might cause some flooding again for us later on in the week. But right now on Court Street, we see that nice sunny sky. A few clouds up in the air. Still chilly, though, 36 degrees. So if you're outside today, which you most definitely should go outside and enjoy it, don't forget to grab that winter jacket. You're going to need it. But we will be hitting warmer temps later on in the day. Right now, 63% humidity. Our wind is at 30 to 5 miles per hour, pressure at 30.38 inches, and our visibility is at 10 miles. We had a daily average of 49 degrees and a daily low of 31 degrees, so we're definitely off from that record high of 76 and that record low of 10 degrees. The sun rose at 6:53 a.m. today and will set at 6:27 p.m. So we're hitting around 11 hours of daylight at least. Sunshine's what we're hoping for, and around the region you could see temperatures will begin to warm up. 46 degrees in Athens is the high for today, 42 in Columbus. Up near Cleveland, they're a little bit cooler. cooler, 31 degrees, Canton at 39, and Columbus as well as Dayton and Cincinnati are still under a flood warning, so areas near them are seeing a flood warning. Athens, thankfully, no flood warning for us right now, but Wednesday is the day that we're going to look out for as more rain will hit our region. Let's take a look, though, at that national radar for us. You could see that we are experiencing up in New York, they're getting a nice strong storm system. They're seeing some snow actually over in New York. Over Ohio, we're thankfully clear, and that's going to stay with us due to a high pressure system in our area. But we will see a cold front moving in Wednesday. That's going to give us some rain. So we take a look at that day planner as you move on throughout your day. 44 degrees at 3 p.m., dropping down to 42 at 6 p.m., and then at 9 p.m. we will hit 38 degrees. And as you can see, those clouds are going to begin to increase as the day goes on. But Tuesday is going to be our warmest day of the week. Let's take a look, though, overnight, what you can expect. Temperatures in the lower 30s, 31 degrees, with those slightly cloudy skies, and clouds will begin to increase as the night goes on. Moving on, though, for tomorrow, that is our best day of the week, 56 degrees, nice sunny skies, so make sure you want to get outside, enjoy that nice weather, because Wednesday we're going to see some rain moving into the region, and we could take a look at that 4-day forecast and look at that. Wednesday, 70% chance to see rain. We could even see a couple thunderstorms in there, 53 degrees, and as you can see, winter's still holding on because our lows are in the lower 30s. Thursday, 50% chance to see some rain. That actually is going to become a rain-snow mix as we get into the nighttime when those temperatures drop down. So you can expect to see a little bit of snow. But tomorrow, great day. Go outside. Take advantage of the sun. Take advantage of that nice, mid-50s throughout the state, basically. So.
Definitely.
Hey, well, thank you very much, Kirsty, for that weather look. And in high school sports, it's indoor time for high school basketball. Stephanie, it's in full swing right now.
Yes, but before that, it's your last chance to see the Athens Voices art exhibition. Find out about this and more in today's community calendar.
Well, Stephanie, now it is time to talk some sports, and who better to have on set than Connor Kiesel?
Yeah, we have a lot to talk about. As you said, Matt, the high school basketball playoff season in swing. Alexander varsity boys basketball team started and ended district tournament play last night at Ohio University's Convocation Center. The Spartans took on the number 2 seed, the Piketon Red Streaks. During the first quarter, the Spartans were struggling against Piketon's strong defense. But by the second quarter, the Spartans made a comeback and had a strong lead on the Streaks, with Jack Hart scoring 16 points for the game. Teammate Michael Chapman added another 15. But the second half turned back toward the Streaks, although it was close right to the very end. Alexander came up just short as the game closed with the final score, Piketon 59, Alexander 54. To check out more footage and pictures from last night's action, go to athensmidday.com. Meigs was at the Convo yesterday too in District 3 semifinal play. The 11-11 Marauders took on 14-7 Ironton, and it was 2 sophomores that Meigs couldn't stop. The Tigers' Zach Carter and Trey Fletcher scored 33 and 21 and led Ironton to a 70-64 win. A slow start plagued the Marauders. They got down 28-12 and could never chip away at the deficit. Cameron Bolin scored 23 in the losing effort. And in other D3 semifinal action, Wellston suffered the same result as Meigs. It's over for the Rockets, who were knocked out of the playoffs 81-36 by Chesapeake. The Rockets couldn't slow down the one-loss Panthers, who are ranked second in the state, and couldn't get enough offense going themselves. No Rockets reached double-digit points. They finished their season with 11 wins and 11 losses. When March comes around in basketball season, it's usually time to bring up the classic tale of Cinderella and her story at the ball. Yesterday, the Lady Bobcats penned the first chapter of their own tale. Now the story begins in DeKalb, the underdog 10th-seeded Cats taking on 7th-seed Northern Illinois. The day's protagonist, an unlikely one, freshman Erin Bales, who's averaging just 3.9 points per game. Yesterday, she knocked everyone at the arena off their feet. That's because she put up 23 points, hitting 5 of 7 threes and propelling the Cats to a 72-56 victory. Tanisha Benson added 12 points and 7 rebounds in the win. Now, the story's second scene changes setting to Cleveland, and there's even more competition at this bigger dance. It's the MAC quarterfinals and a date with 2-seed Bowling Green. The Falcons beat Ohio both times the two teams played this season. The men's basketball team was the Cinderella of last year's MAC tournament. They pulled 4 upsets in a week's time to earn an NCAA tournament berth. Now they'll try to do the same this year with a higher seed. The men's MAC tournament begins Tuesday at campus sites, and Ohio is the 5th seed. You can see all of the matchups here. Now, Ohio barely missed out on a bye, a loss to Miami Friday night, delivering the final blow to those hopes, but they'll play a Toledo team that's just not good, 1-15 in the MAC, and they haven't won since mid-January. Tip-off is tomorrow night at 7 at the Convo. MAC postseason beginning in basketball, it's ending for wrestling. The MAC championships finished up yesterday on the campus of Northern Illinois. The Bobcats finished the weekend 4th overall, and Central Michigan took the title. 3 Ohio wrestlers will continue their seasons at NCAA championships. It'll be Nick Perdue at 174, Eric Schuth at 197, and Jeremy Johnson in the heavyweight class continuing on. Winning's been the word of the week across the social universe. Yesterday, the Bobcats did just that, and you can put a hashtag in front of it too. Down south in the Volunteer State, the Bobcats took on and took out Tennessee Tech. A 4-0 shutout yesterday, with starter Brent Chobin doing work on the mound for the Cats. He pitched 7 2/3 innings, allowing just 4 hits and striking out 3. The Cats now turning it around a bit, 4-7 after an 0-4 start to this season. Now it's back to Athens for the season's first home series. Marshall comes to town for 4 games starting Friday. The Bobcats softball team was shut out of playing at all. That's because of the bad weather that hit the area over the weekend. It'll now make up a game against Western Michigan in less than an hour here in Athens. That starts at 1. Then it's regularly scheduled action with a double dip against Marshall tomorrow at 1 and 3. Number 1 in the college basketball ranks, the Buckeyes. But recent history has shown Wisconsin has a way of ruining that distinction for Ohio State. Yesterday, the Buckeyes didn't just change that, they did it with some oomph. Look at John Diebler swishing threes all afternoon. He was on his game hitting from Medina, and then he's just out of state. Diebler had a great game. 7 of his 8 tries from 3 were good. The Buckeyes made 14 of their 15 shots from downtown. That breaks an NCAA record. Those numbers put a senior day victory in the win column, a 93-65 crushing of the Badgers. Now the Buckeyes closed the regular season 29-2, 16-2 in the Big Ten. They're the top seed in the Big Ten tourney with the NCAA tournament upcoming. Coming up, the standings is something the Cavs haven't done much of. They've been in the cellar for a while. But they beat the Knicks for the 3rd time this season Friday, so maybe a kickstart for Cleveland. Yesterday, the Hornets in town, and Mardi Gras starts tomorrow, but it was no party for New Orleans. Just look at this video. It's hard to watch. Chris Paul hits the deck hard, and he suffers a concussion. And not a good thing for him, but watch this later on. Baron Davis, the heave, and it's good. A happy halftime punctuation. Jarrett Jack turned it on for the New Orleans Hornets later, and it's the Cavs losing again, 96-81. Guys, not much good to talk about with the Cavs.
No. Not at all, Connor. Thank you very much. And man may have a new best friend. A Myrtle Beach man has a new walking buddy in addition to his 2 dogs. Whenever Will Whitson takes his frequent walks, he has a different kind of friend to keep him company. A goose, who Will has named Abe, has developed an attachment to Will and his dogs. For almost 2 years, Will, his dogs, and Abe have been walking in a local park. Will brings food for Abe, and they often eat dinner together. Sometimes Abe even tries to get in Will's car whenever their walk is over after the meal. In response to the Abe's attachment to Will, doctors say the geese can develop feelings much like a dog can. Make sure to watch Newswatch this evening at 5:30 for information on OU's latest research on pipeline safety.
And OU is paying legal expenses. We'll tell you why tomorrow at noon. Have a great day.